Last week, I did a video talking about the surprisingly hot start of the Niagara Ice Dogs. And this week, I wanted to look at another surprising start. And this one, it's in the Eastern Conference. It's the Peterborough Petes. If you're a fan of the Petes right now, it has been a tough go. They're off to an 0-7 start. The Peterborough Petes, they've been playing junior hockey since 1956, and they have never lost seven straight to open a regular season. The most comparable would be the 2010-2011 campaign where they went 1-6 to start that season. So that year, the Petes ended up missing the playoffs. They didn't finish at the bottom of the regular season standings, but still, that was a year of rebuild and retool at the PMC. So I just wanted to look at the 7-game losing streak to start the year and how it compares to other starts in OHL history, because it is fascinating when you look at the record books of teams that have had some struggles to start a year. But this losing streak right now, like I said, it's at 7 games. And the one thing that stands out is the lack of goal scoring coming from this Pete's team. They're a younger squad. They traded away most of their veteran players last season. So the plan was to regroup, retool, and build through the junior hockey cycle. So this year wasn't expected to be a year that they challenge for top spot in the East Division, but you wanted to see some growth. And obviously, I think this team will turn it around. They will start to develop some wins. But right now, it's been a tough go. They've been shut out twice. They lost 4-0 in North Bay back on September 27th. And then last week, putting up 40 shots, were shut out by the Sudbury Wolves by a score of 1-0. And this last weekend, they played a 3-3, which is challenging. They started at home against Sudbury and then went on the road, lost 6-3 in Guelph, and then 7-2 in Owen Sound. And even for the coaching staff, saying that they admit it is a tough go when you're playing a 3-3 with younger players who aren't necessarily used to the grind of the Ontario Hockey League, but it's a part of the game. You got to learn and develop, and discipline has also been a bit of an issue that the coaching staff has seen improvement since the start of the regular season, but you kind of want more from this team. And when you look at the goal scoring, leading the way is Jonathan Malia, the overage forward. He has 3 goals, 1 assist, 4 points in 5 games of work. But what's encouraging, though, is second in scoring is rookie forward Colin Fitzgerald. 3 goals, 1 assist, 4 points, similar to Malie. He's a -5, which is 2 less than Malie at -3. But still, encouraging to see the rookie forward contributing offensively. You'd like to see some more points from your top point getters, but for Fitzgerald in his first season, not too shabby. After that, Chase Lefebvre, a goal and 2 assists in 5 games. A little discouraging considering he led the team in scoring during the preseason. He's also dealt with suspensions, so he's been out of the lineup as well. So Lefebvre, another one of the overagers. Fourth in scoring is Caden Taylor, who they acquired last season. He has just 2 goals on the season, so you can kind of see where things are a little discouraging on the offensive front. And then you have Adam Levac, another rookie forward, 1 goal, 1 assist. Blake Gowan, rookie, he's defense. He has 2 assists. Braden McCallum, a little surprising. He doesn't have any goals yet in the opening 7 games, just 2 assists. You kind of thought he would take that next step to show some leadership on this team. And then you got Quentin Page. He's got a goal. Carson Cameron, just 1 goal. Graydon Strohack, he's got an assist. And then Ryder McIntyre, just an assist as well. So it's really thin when you look at the offense of just not able to find the back of the net. This is where this Peterborough Petes team needs someone to take charge. But I'm wondering if that'll have to come after this team makes a final decision on their overager situation. They have 4 OAs on the roster, 3 of which are forwards. You got Jonathan Malie, Chase Lefebvre, and Ryder McIntyre. Those are your 3 offensive options on the overager front. And then the 4th is Liam Stushka, the goaltender. He's a solid netminder, and he's a goaltender you would expect could steal some games during the course of the regular season. I almost wondered if he would have been the player that the Peterborough Petes may have looked to move during the offseason to get some assets. But right now, it just seems as though the goaltending market not quite there for an overage goalie. And also, most teams have their overage situations figured out at this point. Right now, the Brampton Steelheads come to mind as a team that still has some OA spots open, but obviously they're not going to look for a goaltender with Jack Ivankovic in net. So the options are limited as to trading partners for the Peterborough Petes. They may have to look to move one of their forwards, Malie, Lefebvre, or Ryder. Ryder McIntyre, they picked up from the Oshawa Generals last year, and he wasn't really the big point getter for last season. You look at his stats from last year, Ryder McIntyre, 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points during his time with Oshawa before the trade. And then in 43 games with Peterborough last season, 12 goals, 15 assists, 27 points. So not too bad, but you kind of expect a little bit more if he's going to take the lead on the offensive front for the Peterborough Petes. So I don't think it's time to panic per se for the Peterborough Petes going forward. Will this losing streak be extended? It could. They do have a tough home and home coming up this weekend against the Oshawa Generals. Oshawa will be in Peterborough Thursday night before the Petes travel to the Tributes Community Center on Friday. And then they host the Kingston Frontenacs next Thursday. So 2 games against Oshawa, then that Kingston, it could be a 10-game losing streak to that point. And like I said, this is uncharted territory already for the Peterborough Petes, as their most losses in a row to start a season was 4. And that was back in 2010. I actually went through the archives on OHL history. They have all the stats from 1997, 98, and beyond. And it's really a helpful tool. If you want to check it out, highly recommend it. It's really cool to be able to see some of those past stats. And with that, I was able to look at the history of the Peterborough Petes. And this is a franchise that has never experienced a start like this. And how does this start compare to previous seasons with other teams? Well, last year, the Niagara Ice Dogs, they got off to an 0-5 start before they got their first win. Of course, they finished at the bottom of the standings last year. The Sudbury Wolves, they had 0-5 starts in both 2017 and 2007. If you go back to 2003, the Belleville Bulls, they started the season 0-4-1. That's when we still had ties in the Ontario Hockey League. But the biggest losing streaks that stand out were in the 1990s. And we'll go back to 1998. The Brampton Battalion, they had an 0-6 start in their expansion season. They would only have 8 wins in total that year and finish second last in the Ontario Hockey League in the overall standings, because the team at the bottom were the Mississauga Ice Dogs. And they started 1998 0-11. So they only had 4 wins in total that entire season. But I don't think the Peterborough Petes are going to see their losing streak go that long. But, you just got to take note, looking back to the Mississauga Ice Dogs. But you know what? That's not the worst start in Ontario Hockey League history, let alone the Canadian Hockey League. The worst start were the London Knights back in the 1995-96 season. They were 0-31-2 before they registered their first win of the season. They only had 3 wins in total that year, and that's a record as the worst season in Canadian Hockey League history. So I don't think the Peterborough Petes are going to go down that road. The Petes, they will start to figure out, they do have some good talent on this hockey club, as I mentioned, and I think the Peterborough Petes will snap this losing streak. It's just an unfortunate way to start, but if they can get some great goaltending from Stushka, if they do decide to keep him between the pipes, he's been known to steal games, and they're going to have to hope to steal a game or two over the next 3 games if they want to avoid seeing a double-digit losing streak to start the 2024-25 campaign. So I just wanted to break it down there just to take a look at the Petes, because I know there's been a lot of people wondering, when will the Peterborough Petes get their first win? So once we get past the 2 games against Oshawa and then Kingston, they're on the road for 2 games against Brantford and Oshawa. So they got 3 games coming up against the Generals in the coming weeks. And then after that, they're home to Niagara. They go to Kingston, and then another game against Oshawa on November 5th. So the Generals, they have a chance to extend the misery, I guess you could say, in Peterborough. But hopefully the Petes can snap that losing streak sooner rather than later. Now, we do have some news items to cover. We're going to start off with the CHL Top 10. 4 teams from the Ontario Hockey League are posted in this week's edition of the CHL Top 10. The Brampton Steelheads, second overall in the CHL Top 10. They are not knocked out of the top spot by the Moncton Wildcats of the QMJHL. Also making an appearance, the London Knights. They're 6th in the CHL Top 10. The Niagara Ice Dogs, 8 overall in the CHL Top 10. And making their first appearance of the season, the Windsor Spitfires at 9th overall. And I know there's a lot of Spitfire fans wondering, where are the Spitfires in the CHL Top 10 ranking? Where are the Spitfires in the OHL Power Rankings? If you take a look, I posted my Power Rankings video yesterday. I do have the Spitfires 3rd overall in my Power Rankings, but it's nice to see the Spitfires right now being recognized at the national level. And some other interesting tidbits of information to pass your way. Going into this weekend, Easton Cowan trying to make history in the Canadian Hockey League. He's appeared in 3 games since returning from the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he's earned points in all 3 of those games, extending his point streak that started in December 2023 to 39 games. That's now the second longest point streak in Canadian Hockey League history. He just passed Sidney Crosby, who had 37 games consecutive with points. He's trying to catch Alexander Radulov, who had a 50-game point streak. Of course, he was in the QMJHL with the Quebec Remparts. So Easton Cowan, 11 games away from catching Radulov and 12 from potentially having the longest point streak in Canadian Hockey League history. And for Cowan, it's been a good start since coming back from Toronto in those 3 games. 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points. And you know that he's going to start ramping it up as that London Knights team looking very solid now that they've got their core back in time for another run for an OHL championship this season. And finally, some news coming out of the Hamilton area. It sounds as though we should be hearing an announcement in January of interest in bringing the American Hockey League to the First Ontario Centre. Of course, if you may recall, the Bulldogs relocated from Hamilton to Brantford because of the renovations at the First Ontario Centre. And the speculation was that the city of Hamilton would look to have an American Hockey League team back in the Hammer. And that sounds like that could be announced as early as January, their interests in bringing an AHL franchise to the city. Not sure which team it would be or who they'd be associated with at the National Hockey League level, but that's the talk right now. But does that mean OHL hockey is done in the Hamilton area? Well, if things go as to plan in the city of Burlington, the OHL could maybe expand or relocate to that city. The 1200 King Road Entertainment District, it's moving forward. It still needs final approval from Burlington City Council. It's a $6 billion project, which includes housing, entertainment, and a college campus. It's right near the Aldershot GO station is where they want to build it, and they could start construction as soon as next year. And this project, it will include a 5,000-seat arena with the focus being on the junior hockey level. So nothing's been confirmed as to whether or not the OHL would put a team in Burlington, but with everything going in favor of this project going forward, we could be looking at an OHL franchise potentially landing in Burlington in the future. Not sure what the timeline will be. It'll still be several years, I think, before the OHL looks to expand. But I do believe expansion may be on the horizon of the Ontario Hockey League. I did a video in the summer talking about potential destinations, and Burlington was one of them. And this is just another step towards that as Burlington City Council looking to move this project forward. A $6 billion project is the price tag of the King Road Entertainment District. So we'll see how that all pans out. They say it's going to take 10 to 15 years to complete the whole entertainment district. Not sure how the arena situation will factor into that timeline, but they want to start construction in that area as early as next year. So those are the news items for today. And let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on these news items, or even if you have your thoughts about the Peterborough Petes. When do you think their losing streak will come to an end? Love to see the interactions. Thank you very much for all your support. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Talk to you soon.